Yeah, hi, and very good morning to one and all. I'm Praveen Kumar. So, in this video, we'll be looking into one of the most important architecture in modern web development. So, you have been trained on building heavy sparse, I mean single page applications. In modern development, we'll be using something called React or Vue for the front end, where we duplicate routing and write massive JSON APIs where the request will download megabytes of data in the user browser and updates the page based on that. So, in order to get the same experience with 100% functionality like how React works, I have built an enhanced progressive issue tracker using HTMX and Django, where the security comes from the backend. So let's deep dive into our project. The enhanced issue tracker. It's an server-side rendering logistic and task management application. So coming to the server-side rendering and the client-side rendering, there are two different types in modern web development. One is server-side rendering, where the page has been already rendered on the sender, I mean on the server, and it will be updated to the user, the client, the browser. And whereas client-side rendering, it will download a JavaScript file and renders the user browser, and it's something uses called DOM, document object model, and compares with the virtual DOM and the new DOM, and it will applies to the real DOM. So this is called something called reconciliation algorithm in React. So today topic is not about React, how we are using server-side rendering with Django and HTMX. So yeah, this project mainly consists of two models. One is not two models, three models. One is the project model. So what's the project ID and the name and the description of it, and the issue, or whether there are any issues on the project. And another thing is comments. So people can comment for their issues. And so yeah, this is how a server-side rendering logic works. Because I have used HTMX, it will use something called variables called hx post and hx target and hx web. So hx on will be useful for after sending a comment, we need to erase that on the input box. And to use HTMX, you need to download this unpkg HTMX file. So this application completely works without JavaScript. Just I'll be using this JavaScript library, but it will not use this JavaScript in the browser. I will show you when JavaScript is disabled in the browser, even though the project works. So what I meant to say is stop using heavy sparse for just rendering a simple project board. And these are some HTML files. We need to store it in the templates of the tracker app because the app has to be same name for the Django. Otherwise, it will not able to identify the where are the templates. It will return something called template does not exist errors. And base.html. So this will act as a parent HTML file. We don't want to write for every time, because for every HTML page we will be containing head and HTML tag and a header body. So we will be using something called extends. So this will be extending from our base.html file. So for every page it will be extending all the features of base.html. And we are using CSRF token for security, because a malicious hacker can inject their form in their website. And this project issue and issue detail. So when you click on the view details, we can check all the details of the issue. And the project board to display how many projects are there, I mean what are the status of each project. So that's it. This is the front end part. Coming to the back end part, we'll be written the business logic in Vue.py. So we'll be getting the context of what are the types of statuses, and we are sending it with the request to our project board along with the context. So in the context, I mean in the project board, it uses something called loops, Django template loops, for issue in issues, to do issues. So it will extract all the issues and render it on the screen. So this is one of the method for project board, and another thing for create issue. So we have seen that why I have set to commit equal to false. It stops before writing the row to the database, because we will be using form.save. Then we will be forgot to mention the project. For every project there will be issues, because a project has many issues. So I have assigned the project to the project variable, and once all the things have been done, we will be saving to .save method. And yeah, I will show you HX request. Yeah, it's an HTMX request. If the headers of the request contains a HX request header, we will be rendering it just a fragment of the HTML, not the full page reload. So this application works by without reloading the full page. We will be assigning a small fragments of the HTML. If the request doesn't contain the HX request, we will be default fallback to our project board file. I mean the project board HTML file. So this high level, I mean, I think I have covered major parts. Just these are for retrieving the comments from the objects. So you can see the content.strip. If a user can send a spaces for a comment, we don't want to store the empty spaces in the database. Okay, let's get into the practical demonstration. So this application is completely Dockerized, so you don't need to worry about which version of the Python has to be used, and which version of the Django has to be installed in our system. So you don't need to worry about. Just you have to install your Docker desktop on your system. So all the dependency management will be done by this thing, because it will be uses containers. Yeah, the Docker has been running state. And I have already seeded this project with some database. For example, say 2 to 3 projects, I think, inside the migrations. So yeah, these are the some projects I have seeded into the project database. Let's say our first project, alpha project, and second project is beta project. And for some issues for each project, yeah, all the models has been defined exactly here. I'm just pinning up the containers up. So this high level architecture of the project. So whenever a the user browser clicks move to done, the HTTP request will be handling to our Django view. So it checks whether the HX request header has been there or not. If there is no, the standard request means we need to apply the full page reload. Otherwise, we can render the HTML fragment for that part only. It will be stored in the issue.html. I will show you that too. So we can see that we will be swapping out the outer HTML file. And these are some optional values. Let's say the drop down box, to do, and in progress, and done status. Once we hit click update, it will be automatically updated. Then if the enhanced request means we'll be rendering only small part of the HTML, or the browser receives the HTML fragment, and HTMX or the JavaScript swaps it into the DOM. So this will be, these applications are will highly available and highly useful in systems like 3G mobile, or where in a company where the firewall stops the JavaScript to load and execute. This type of applications will be useful. So yeah, these are the architectural design choices I have already told you. One is the server side rendering, because we don't want to make the rendering completely on the client side, and template modularity. So we don't want to be fix it all the things in a single HTML file. We use template modularity and header based request routing. So I already told you, if the request is containing HX request, then we'll be using client's capabilities. If present, okay, 200 status code HTML fragment. If absent, we'll be redirecting to standard HTML for it contains full page reload. So these are some instructions if you want to run it on your system. So make sure you have installed Docker desktop. Okay, let's get into the practical execution. So I have sent the URL with the project slash ID1, because the database is already seeded with 2 to 3 examples. I can see this. So this is our first initiative for development. Let's try to create a new issue. Begin testing. Unit testing succeeded, but integration testing fails. So this is an issue. We need to status save issue. So you can see that plugin testing has been updated. So let's see if we can in progress upgrade. So back, if we want to add any comment, we can post your comment. So let's say use Django test case for writing. So this is some example, that's it. So you can see that the time automatically time has been also added, because in comment we have added the month, the date and the year along with the hour. So we need to get back to the our board. So I have already updated to in progress, so that's why we'll be seeing in the in progress. Let's see if I mean JavaScript has been disabled in your browser. Let me try to disable JavaScript. Can simply type Control Shift I and Control Shift P and search for disable JavaScript. So this application is not able to find the JavaScript. Let's say we need to set into update. Yeah, status has been changed along with the place also has been changed. So yeah, and I have created some test cases to check whether the application is working correctly or not. So just a simple sample test case and the description along with that, and the standard request whether returning to 302 status code, because it is just returning to 302 which is redirect, and 200 is it will be using HTMX. So yeah, both the test cases have been passed. Set equal method will be helpful to check whether the response and the response status code and 200 are equal or not. And it also using whether the template used was partial issue code or not, because if a request containing HTMX headers, we need to use the issue code, not the full page reload. So that's it, guys. This is how I build progressive and enhancement with Django and HTMX, where we need to use server-side rendering instead of client-side rendering. So that's it, guys. Thank you. If you want GitHub URL, you can access from it here, or otherwise I will be adding in the comments. Okay, comment down if you have any doubts or queries. Thank you.